You think you're being smart with money, but right now, somewhere in your life, a luxury habit is quietly siphoning cash out of your account. Not the obvious splurges, not the designer handbags you feel guilty about. These are the sneaky ones. The habits that feel reasonable, that other people normalize, that you justify because you work hard or because everyone else does it. They blend into your routine so smoothly, you forget they cost anything at all. Until you look at your bank statement and wonder where it all went. This video breaks down 15 of those habits, ranked from bad to absolutely brutal. By the end, you'll know exactly which ones are hitting your wallet hardest, how they trick you into spending more than you planned, and what you can do to stop the drain without feeling like you're depriving yourself. Let's get into it. Number 15 is premium fuel for cars that don't need it. Most modern cars run perfectly fine on regular unleaded. The owner's manual tells you exactly what your engine requires. If it says regular is fine, then premium does nothing except cost you more at the pump. The difference adds up fast. Premium fuel typically costs 20 to 50 cents more per gallon, and if you're filling up once a week, that's extra money every single month for zero performance gain. Car manufacturers design engines to specific fuel grades. Unless your manual explicitly requires premium, you're just paying for a placebo. Some people assume premium cleans the engine better or extends its life, but modern fuel standards already include detergents in all grades. The myth persists because premium sounds better, and gas stations position it as the superior choice. It's not. It's just higher octane, which only matters if your engine has high compression. Most don't. Check your manual, switch to regular if it's approved, and pocket the difference. If you're driving a standard sedan or SUV, you're almost certainly wasting money every time you choose premium. Next is 14, and it's tipping on takeout orders. Tipping culture has expanded into places it never used to exist. When you pick up food yourself, you're doing the work. You drove to the restaurant, you walked in, you carried the bag out. There's no table service, no refills, no one checking if your meal is going well, yet the payment screen still suggests 15, 20, or 25%. That screen is designed to make you feel cheap for selecting a lower amount or none at all. The guilt is intentional. Restaurants benefit because they shift labor costs onto customers while paying staff less. Takeout tips used to be rare or small, maybe $1 or $2 if you felt generous. Now the default prompts make it seem mandatory. It's not. If you're picking up your own food, a tip is optional. Some people tip anyway because they want to support workers, and that's fine if it's a conscious choice. But if you're doing it because the screen pressured you, that's a habit draining your account. Over a year, those extra few dollars per order add up to hundreds. Be intentional. If you want to tip on takeout, do it. If you don't, skip it without guilt. The screen isn't your boss. Number 13 is paying for faster shipping when you don't need it. Online shopping has conditioned people to expect instant gratification. You see something, you buy it, you want it tomorrow. But most of the time, you don't actually need it that fast. Retailers know this and charge extra for speed. Expedited shipping fees can range from $5 to $20 or more, depending on the item and distance. If you're ordering something non-urgent, like a book or a kitchen gadget or clothing, standard shipping works fine. It might take a few extra days, but you'll survive. The urge for speed is emotional, not practical. Companies profit from that impatience. They also use shipping fees to upsell memberships, convincing you to pay annually for free fast shipping, which only makes sense if you order constantly. For occasional shoppers, those memberships lose money. Pay attention to your real needs. If it's not time-sensitive, choose the cheapest shipping option. If you're ordering multiple items, consolidate them into one shipment instead of several. Small shipping fees feel harmless in the moment, but if you're ordering online even twice a month, you're losing $100 or more per year on unnecessary speed. Slow down. Your impulse can wait. Now number 12. And this one sneaks up on people who think they're being thrifty, buying luxury items on payment plans. Retailers now offer monthly installments on everything from phones to furniture to handbags. The pitch sounds reasonable. Instead of paying $800 today, pay $67 a month for 12 months. No interest, no fees, just split it up. It feels manageable. But it's a psychological trick. Breaking a large price into small chunks makes it seem affordable even when it's not. You end up buying things you wouldn't have purchased outright because the monthly number looks harmless. Meanwhile, you're locking yourself into future payments, which reduces your flexibility. If your income changes or an emergency hits, those installments don't disappear. They pile up. And when you have multiple payment plans running at once, the total monthly drain becomes significant. You might have one for a laptop, one for a couch, one for a watch, and suddenly you're paying $200 a month in installments alone. That's money you can't use for anything else. Payment plans also encourage upgrades you don't need. You replace a working phone because the new one is only $30 a month. Resist the framing. If you can't afford to buy it outright, you probably shouldn't buy it at all. Number 11 is subscription boxes you forget about. These are the curated monthly deliveries of beauty products, snacks, razors, books, vitamins, or whatever niche interest someone managed to monetize. The first box feels exciting. You signed up because the initial offer was cheap or because a friend recommended it. Then the boxes keep coming. Most people use a fraction of what they receive, and the rest piles up in a closet. But the subscription keeps charging your card every month. Companies design these to be easy to start and annoying to cancel. They know most subscribers go passive. You mean to cancel, but you don't get around to it, and another charge hits. Even at $15 or $20 a month, that's a couple hundred a year for stuff you don't use. Some people have multiple subscriptions running simultaneously, each one forgotten until they audit their bank statement. The business model depends on passive subscribers subsidizing active ones. You're paying for the convenience of not having to shop, but that convenience costs more than just buying what you actually need when you need it. Go through your subscriptions right now. Cancel anything you haven't actively enjoyed in the past 2 months. If you wouldn't resubscribe today, end it. Number 10 is buying groceries at convenience stores or airports. Prices in these locations are wildly inflated compared to regular grocery stores or even big box retailers. A bottle of water that costs $1 at a supermarket might be $3 or $4 at an airport. A snack pack that's $2 at a drugstore could be $5 or $6 at a hotel convenience shop. These places charge more because they can. You're captive. You're thirsty, you're hungry, you don't have time to go somewhere else. They exploit urgency. The markup isn't a secret, but people pay it anyway because the alternative feels inconvenient. If you travel frequently or grab food on the go out of habit, this adds up fast. Buying lunch at an airport 5 times a month instead of packing something costs you easily an extra $100 monthly. The fix is simple, but requires planning. Bring snacks when you travel. Fill a water bottle after security. Stop at a regular store before your trip instead of waiting until you're stuck in a terminal. Convenience stores aren't evil, but they're expensive, and if you're using them as your default, you're leaking money. Save convenience pricing for actual emergencies, not routine hunger. Number 9 is hiring services for tasks you could easily do yourself. This includes things like oil changes, house cleaning, lawn care, furniture assembly, or meal kit deliveries. There's nothing wrong with paying for help if you genuinely don't have time or if the task requires expertise you lack. But many people outsource simple jobs because they've convinced themselves they're too busy, or because it feels like a luxury they deserve. The problem is the cost. A basic house cleaning might run $80 to $150. Lawn care can be $50 to $100 per visit. Meal kits often cost double what the same groceries would cost if you shopped yourself. Oil changes at a quick lube shop are marked up compared to doing it at home or finding a cheaper independent mechanic. These services add convenience, but convenience has a price. If you're hiring out multiple tasks regularly, the monthly total becomes significant. Some people spend $300 or $400 a month on services they could handle in an hour or 2 of their own time. The trade-off makes sense if your time is genuinely worth more, but most people overestimate how much time these tasks take and underestimate how much money they're spending. Try doing one of these tasks yourself for a month. Track the time and the savings. You might realize the convenience wasn't worth the cost. Number 8 is paying for premium versions of products that are identical to the standard version except for branding. This happens in fashion, electronics, home goods, and especially food. Store brand products are often made in the same factories as name brands, sometimes even on the same production line, but they cost significantly less because you're not paying for the advertising and brand prestige. The ingredients are often identical, the quality is comparable, But people choose the name brand because it feels safer or more legitimate. Clothing is another area where this hits hard. A plain white t-shirt from a luxury brand can cost 10 times more than a similar shirt from a standard retailer, with no real difference in fabric or construction. You're paying for a logo. Electronics accessories like charging cables are a huge example. An off-brand USB cable that's certified and works perfectly fine might be $10, while the name brand version is $30 or $40. The performance is the same. The markup is pure branding. This doesn't mean all generic products are equal to premium ones, but in many categories, the difference is negligible. Do blind comparisons. Buy the cheaper version, use it, and see if you actually notice a difference. Most of the time, you won't. Now we're at number 7, and it's a big one. Financing furniture and home goods at 0% interest. Retailers love offering this because it tricks people into thinking they're getting a deal. No interest sounds free. But these offers come with conditions. If you miss a payment or don't pay off the balance before the promotional period ends, you get hit with retroactive interest on the entire original amount, often at rates above 20%. That's the trap. They're betting you won't pay it off in time. Most people underestimate how long it takes to clear the balance, especially if they're making minimum payments. Even if you do pay it off, financing encourages bigger purchases. You buy a $2,000 couch because it's only $83 a month for 24 months instead of buying a cheaper couch you could afford outright. The monthly framing disguises the true cost. Meanwhile, that payment obligation reduces your cash flow for the entire term. If something unexpected happens, you're stuck making payments on furniture while trying to cover an emergency. The smarter move is to save up and pay cash, or buy used, or choose something less expensive. Furniture depreciates the moment it enters your home. Financing it makes no financial sense unless you genuinely need it immediately and have a rock-solid plan to pay it off early. Number 6 is replacing expensive items before they break. This habit shows up most often with phones, laptops, and cars. People upgrade not because the old one stopped working, but because a new version launched and the marketing made it seem essential. Phone companies thrive on this cycle. They release a new model every year with marginal improvements, then offer trade-in deals that make the upgrade seem affordable. But your old phone was working fine. It still texts, calls, runs apps, takes decent photos. The new one is incrementally better, not transformationally better, yet you pay $600 or $1,000 or lock into another payment plan for features you barely use. The same pattern happens with laptops. A 5-year-old laptop might be slower, but if it still handles your actual tasks, replacing it is waste. Cars are the worst offender. People trade in vehicles every few years, eating depreciation and constantly carrying a car payment, when driving the same car for a decade would save tens of thousands. The upgrade treadmill is expensive. Companies profit when you replace early. You lose money. Break the cycle by using things until they actually fail or no longer meet your needs. Define no longer meets your needs honestly, not based on marketing hype. Number 5 is paying for premium streaming or media subscriptions you barely use. Streaming services have multiplied. Each one costs $10 to $20 a month. Most people subscribe to several at once because they don't want to miss specific shows. But here's what happens. You watch 1 or 2 shows per month on each service, then forget about them. You're paying for access, not for content you actually consume. The math is brutal. 4 streaming services at $15 each is $60 a month, over $700 a year. For entertainment, you could get more cheaply by rotating subscriptions. Watch everything you want on one service, cancel it, subscribe to the next, watch that content, cancel, and repeat. You'll spend a fraction of the cost and still see everything. Most people don't do this because it feels like effort, but it's literally a few clicks per month. Premium tiers are even worse. You pay extra for ad-free viewing or higher resolution, but ads aren't that intrusive and most people can't tell the difference between HD and 4K on a standard screen. Magazine subscriptions, music services, news apps, they all follow the same trap. You subscribe with good intentions, use it heavily for a week, then barely touch it while the charge keeps hitting. Audit your media spending. Cancel anything you haven't actively used in the past month. Resubscribe later if you miss it. Number 4 is eating out of habit rather than hunger or occasion. This isn't about treating yourself to a nice dinner. It's about defaulting to restaurants, cafes, or delivery apps for meals you could easily prepare at home. Lunch during the workday is the biggest culprit. Spending $10 to $15 per day on lunch adds up to $200 or $300 a month. Over a year, that's thousands. Dinner delivery is worse because of markups and fees. The restaurant charges more on the app than in person. The app adds a service fee, then suggests a tip, and your $20 meal becomes $35. If you're ordering delivery twice a week, you're spending close to $3,000 a year just on the convenience of not cooking. Coffee runs hit the same way. A $5 latte every morning is over $100 a month. Starbucks and similar chains thrive on this daily habit. The cost per visit seems trivial, but frequency is the killer. People justify it as a small treat, but it's not small when it's every single day. The fix isn't to stop eating out entirely. It's to make it intentional. Pack lunch a few days a week. Brew coffee at home most mornings. Reserve restaurants for actual social occasions or times when you're genuinely too busy to cook. Track your food spending for 1 month without changing anything. The number will probably shock you. That shock is useful. It shows you where the money is actually going and makes it easier to cut back. Number 3 is buying luxury items on sale and convincing yourself you're saving money. Sales and discounts are marketing tools designed to trigger purchases you wouldn't otherwise make. When something is 50% off, it feels like you're gaining value. But you're not saving money if you weren't going to buy it at full price. You're spending money you wouldn't have spent. Luxury brands use sales strategically. They discount last season's items to clear inventory, creating urgency with limited-time offers. You see a designer bag marked down from $2,000 to $1,000 and think you're getting a deal. But $1,000 is still $1,000 leaving your account. The discount is relative to an inflated original price. Retailers set those high prices knowing they'll discount later. The original price is often artificial. Outlet stores do this constantly. They sell items made specifically for outlets at lower quality than the mainline brand, but price them to look like steep discounts. You think you're getting the real thing on sale. You're not. You're getting a cheaper product at a markup disguised as a discount. The psychology is powerful. Sales make spending feel responsible. You're being smart, getting value, but if the item wasn't in your budget before the sale, it's still not in your budget. Don't let discounts justify purchases. Buy things you actually need, sale or not. Number 2 is keeping up with trends in fashion, tech, or home decor. This is the expensive habit of constantly refreshing your wardrobe, gadgets, or living space to match what's current. Fashion trends change every season. Last year's style looks dated, so you replace your clothes even though they're still wearable. Tech trends push you toward the latest device even when your current one works fine. Home decor trends make you redecorate rooms that were already functional. The problem is that trends are designed to expire. If everyone kept wearing and using the same things, entire industries would collapse. Planned obsolescence isn't just about products breaking. It's also about making working products feel obsolete through social pressure. You replace things not because they failed, but because they fell out of fashion. This cycle is expensive and endless. Every trend you chase costs money, and by the time you've bought in, the next trend is already starting. Influencers and advertising accelerate this. They showcase the new thing, frame the old thing as outdated, and make you feel behind if you're not keeping up. But you're not behind. You're just not spending money on temporary aesthetics. Resist the pull. Wear clothes until they wear out. Use devices until they stop meeting your needs. Decorate your space in a way that you like, not in a way that matches this season's magazine spread. Timeless beats trendy, and it's cheaper. And now, number 1. The habit that drains the most money while feeling the most justified: financing a luxury car. This is the king of bad financial decisions disguised as reasonable choices. People lease or finance expensive cars because the monthly payment looks manageable, but they're ignoring the total cost. A $40,000 car financed over 6 years at 5% interest costs you over $47,000 by the end. That's $7,000 in interest alone. Leasing is worse. You pay monthly to drive a car you'll never own, then either return it or buy it out at the end for even more money. Either way, you're perpetually making car payments. The justification is always the same. You work hard, you deserve a nice car, it's reliable, it's safe, everyone else has one. But a $20,000 car is also reliable and safe. The extra $20,000 buys you a badge, nicer interior materials, and the feeling of luxury. That feeling costs you tens of thousands over the life of the loan. Cars are the worst investment you can make. They depreciate the moment you drive off the lot. A new car loses 20 to 30% of its value in the first year. You're paying for something that actively loses money. The smart move is to buy a reliable used car in cash, or with a small loan, drive it for a decade, and invest the difference. But people don't do this because they want the status, the comfort, the newness. They want to feel successful. Car companies and lenders exploit that desire. They've normalized permanent car payments as a fact of adult life. It's not. It's a choice, and it's expensive. If you're currently financing a luxury car, you're losing more money than almost any other habit on this list. So here's what matters most. The worst habits aren't the ones you know are bad. They're the ones you've justified, normalized, or forgotten about. Financing cars and furniture, chasing trends, eating out constantly, paying for convenience without thinking, upgrading before things break, falling for sales that aren't really savings, subscribing to things you don't use, letting payment plans disguise real costs, tipping out of guilt, and buying premium when standard works fine. These habits compound. Fix even a few, and you'll see hundreds or thousands of dollars stay in your account every year. If this helped, hit the like button. Drop a comment and tell me which habit you're going to cut first. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Thanks for watching.